Okay, so this is part 2 of the tutorial for how to play Last Goodbye by Jeff Buckley. We've got our tuning down, open G tuning. Now, with this song, and it's common among open tunings, a lot of the chords are movable chords, which means that you put your fingers into a certain shape on the fretboard, and you can play that same shape in other places on the fretboard, and it makes a usable chord. It sounds good. And it's no different with this one. And the first one that we're going to learn, it's the very first chord of the song. You just play a bar chord across 5 of the strings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like that. And when Jeff Buckley plays it, he does it with a slide. But whenever I play it, I don't use the slide generally. I'm not that great with the slide. And also, when I get to the end of the intro portion, it's difficult to get the slide off quickly enough not to disturb the rhythm of the song. But you play that bar chord on the 2nd fret, on the 5th fret. Oh, you can already hear it, right? 12th fret, and then the 7th fret. And so whenever I do it, again without the slide, here's the rhythm I give it. If you tried it with the slide, it would come out a bit like this. And with a slide, it's usually good to give it a bit of a vibrato by moving it up and down, back and forth. And I think the way Jeff does it is with a bit of a tremolo picking too. I have a hard time giving a vibrato and tremolo at the same time, kind of like patting your head and rubbing your stomach, and you get all mixed up. That's one of the other reasons I leave the tremolo, the slide out of it. Anyway, 2nd, 5th, 12th, 7th. Okay, that's that. Now, our next movable chord looks a bit like an A2. You may be familiar with in standard tuning, the A shape down here, 1, 2, 3. If you take out your middle finger there, it becomes an A2 chord. We're going to play it on a different set of strings, but it's that same shape. Kind of a parallel thing there, skipping 1 string, playing the 2 strings on the outside of that middle. We're going to go up here to the 12th fret, and it's the 5th string, 12th fret, and it's the 3rd string, 12th fret, and it sounds like this. Okay, that's one of our movable chords. We're going to play it on the 12th fret. We're going to play it on the 11th fret. Later in the intro, we'll play it at other frets, like the 6th, the 4th, and then, depending on how the mood strikes Buckley, he plays it all over the place. 2nd fret, open, 6th, 7th, 9th. He slides it all around, plays it up high. But for the purpose of our introduction here, we're going to play on the 12th and the 11th. You play that 4 times in a row, and then that gets you set up for the most familiar part of the song, which is this. And so the way we're playing this, again, it's back to kind of a bar shape, like the one we did earlier, but we're going to combine it with a fretted note on the 6th string. So right here we're playing on the 2nd fret. We're going to come over here and play the fretted note on the 4th fret of the 6th string. Okay, so if we're calling that the 4th fret, the next will be at the 7th fret. Now an interesting thing happens when we move down here to the 2nd fret. You see that our bar shape falls past the edge of the nut there. So it's as if we were barring those strings, but we don't need to because the nut does it for us. So you can just play that alone with the open strings. And then up here to the 9th. Okay, so here's our shapes. And then add some rhythm to it. To make it a little bit more staccato, lift up that note, off and on. Okay, and you're just going to kind of slide up to each one. Okay? Now, if the staccato rhythm is a little bit difficult to play when we get around to it later and you need to sing, you can just hold that whole chord shape and strum without doing any of the back and forth of it. That works out just fine. It's not quite as fancy, but it's a bit simpler to pull off. So far, here's what we got. 4 times in a row. I'm going to skip that third and fourth time and come right to this. 4 times in a row on this. Now at this part, we return to that A2 shape that we played earlier at the 12th fret and the 11th fret. We're going to come down here to the 6th and play that shape. And then down to the 4th. And that gets you finished with the introduction. We're ready to slide right back up with that same exact shape to play our verse at the 11th and 12th frets. Okay, that's where I'll leave you with this part of the tutorial. We'll come back in part 3 with some more chords from the song.